Cold rain is back. The MJO is moving along. Much of the nation is under cloud cover. Temperatures are mild, and the southeast ridge is popping up on much of the guidance in the long range. And you know what that means? That means the snow weenies are lining up on the cliff, the ledges are packed, and we're going to have to spend a good amount of time talking people down off the ledge as we get into this winter season the way it looks right now. Got some good news for you. I've got a couple of snow maps to show you. Going to show you who over the next couple of weeks is likely to pick up snow if snow is going to fall. And then I'm going to show you why you need not be worried about the cold that is set to come down out of the Arctic and invade the United States in December. Are there guarantees in weather? Absolutely not. Are there signals that we should pay attention to? Sure. And I'm going to show you some of those today because I'm not discouraged in the least. Yeah, you might have to be a little bit patient if you live in the South and if you live in the East, but when is that not the case? We always get into December for some reason thinking we ought to have wall-to-wall cold. It just doesn't work like that. And a La Nina southeast ridge pops up. And we're going to have to deal with that on and off this winter. But some good news is here because cold rain is here. And I've got your weather forecast. We've got a couple of severe thunderstorms possible today. We're going to look at that too. But I'm going to start right here with this chart that we look at very, very frequently in the wintertime. This is called the MJO chart. You probably get sick of seeing this, but if you want to know or have a good idea of what the next period of time holds, you really ought to pay attention to signals like the MJO. It's tropical convection and it moves along in the tropics, and where it goes matters because it influences the jet stream differently as it trucks along, and we diagram it here as phases on this chart. And it is currently in phase 6, and it is forecast by every single model to move into phase 7, and then by almost every single model, if not every single model, to move into phase 8, and then we'll see what happens after that, but the chances are it will get on into phase 1 and 2 after that. As a matter of fact, you're looking at the GFS ensemble suite. Look at the European ensemble suite. Yes, this red line means it's going to be in this is for the month of essentially November here. You can see this red line. The black line is where it's been. The red line is where it is. It's in phase 6. It's going to get into phase 7 as we get toward the 1st of December. We get out here to 5th of December. It's approaching phase 8. It's kind of going slowly, and that is just fine. Does that mean the pattern might take a little while to cool off in the south and east? Sure, but that's okay. What difference does it make? Give it a week or two. Just be patient. Watch what I'm going to show you. It's going to get into phase 8. If we take a look at the GFS extended, look what happens. We get on out here toward mid and late December. We're slowly working through phase 8. That's really good, and I'm going to show you why. Look at this. The European monthly, same thing. A little loop-de-loop here, but that's okay. It's just some convection pulses in the tropics, and that's totally fine. And watch what happens. It goes on out into phase 8. All the ensembles agree with that, so we're looking pretty good here from an MJO standpoint. And I always tell you, we always ask, what is it and why does it matter? Well, I told you what it is, and here's why it matters. Look at this. You see this? A bunch of maps here, but I want you to focus right here on this where it says phase 7. You see that composite right there? Those are temperatures when the MJO is in phase 7. This is what the temperature profile across the United States is likely to be. And look up here, these dark colors right here. I know you have to kind of squint to see it, but look at that. That's where the core of the cold air is. That doesn't mean it's got to be exactly over these states. It could shift around a little bit. And you see these yellowish colors here in the southeast? That's indicative of a little bit of southeast ridge, keeping us a little milder. Same along the west coast and maybe in parts of the Rockies. And again, this can shift a little bit north or south or east or west, but that's the general idea when the MJO is in phase 7. Look what happens when it's in phase 8. A lot of blue real estate here covered across the United States. So if we get into phase 8 in December, watch out because it's going to get cold. And if you got an active storm track, could get some moisture to mix up with that cold air. And you know what happens then? We get a lot of people asking a lot of questions about their backyard. And that's what we're going to see, I'm afraid, as we get into December. So if you don't like cold weather, I'm sorry to say you may be out of luck by the time we get into mid-December. Now, look at this. I'm going to change the display here. into a different one that shows our ensembles. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of different. Actually going to show you 4 different ensemble suites run all the way out to the end of their runs, which is 2 weeks down the road. That takes us all the way out to December the 6th. Okay, all right, morning of December the 6th. This is the European ensemble suite on the morning of December the 6th. Does this look like anything familiar? Maybe this right here. Huh? You see how that works? Okay, there's the EPS. Look at that. European ensemble mean. You got a little warm air here in the southeast with the southeast ridge, core of the cool anomalies. This isn't bitterly cold Arctic air, but it illustrates the point. The MJO has a signal for strongest cold air here down into the southern plains. And there it is, and a little bit of warmer air along the west coast. What about the GFS ensembles? Look at that. Southeast ridge. Warmer over here into the Rockies, just like we saw in phase 7. You see, phase 7. Look, go back. If you don't believe me, phase 7. There it is. GFS ensemble says, yep, phase 7. Core of the cold anomalies across the northern plains. You tired of this yet? Look at this. The Canadian ensembles, they just want to put cold everywhere. I kind of discount this possibility right now because phase 7 doesn't have cold everywhere, so they're probably not all that correct here. So we'll just toss them out. What about the European AI ensembles? Okay, the AI has done remarkably well. That's the artificial intelligence model, and there are several of these that have come out now. The European AI was out last year, and it has learned a lot, and right now it's outperforming in a lot of ways the traditional physics-based models, the European, the GFS, all those ones that you've heard. Look at this. This is the European AI ensemble suite. This is knocking on the door of Thanksgiving Day. This is Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. You see where the front is here, my friends? This is the 2-meter temperature anomaly. A lot of times we look at 850 because you don't get those bounces around when the surface heats and cools and heats and cools. But there's your front coming in. Is Thanksgiving going to be cool? Yeah, you better believe it is. In the eastern part of the country, east of the Rockies, not Arctic cold, but cool. It's going to feel seasonably cool, even below normal in spots, and it's going to feel like Thanksgiving at least. Look at these green colors coming in as we get on into Friday morning. That means about 10 degrees below normal. So yeah, it's not Arctic cold. You're not going to have a bunch of snow in the south on Thanksgiving, but boy, it's going to feel like Thanksgiving, and that's going to be nice to throw the football. And by the time we get on out toward the end of the weekend, we start to warm up in the south. And look at this. Now, this is a little bit more of an Arctic sourced air mass, and it blasts in here with minus 20. Okay, this is minus 20 below normal. And so there you go. And these reds are about plus 10 above normal. So it's going to be warm in the southeast. Now you're going to have a battle zone set up. You got a big Arctic plunge coming in this way. You got a southeast, draw that arrow. You got a southeast ridge pushing in this way. You know what happens there? You got a big kind of a boundary that sets up here. And look at that boundary there as we go on out through the end of the run. It sort of stays in place, maybe shifts to the east a little bit. And then the southeast ridge gets a little bit squashed. And by the way, over here east of the Alps, look at this. You see this kind of area here? Probably going to see some surface wedging down the apps, maybe even keeping it a little bit cooler than the model is showing from time to time. But by the end of the run, look where we are. We match up well with all those other runs with the core of the cold anomalies up here in the northern plains, a little bit of a warm anomaly here in the southeast and over here in the west as well. Matches right up with phase 7. Why am I showing you all of this? I'm showing you this because as we watch the MJO circle the horn, circle right around the horn, you see this, go back over here, we'll look at it one more time just so you see it. It goes on in toward phase 8, okay? If it gets on into phase 8, look what happens in phase 8. Cool weather, maybe even cold weather. And that's going to depend on how much cold air is up in Canada by the time we get there. And look at this. What do we see up in Canada? A whole bunch of cold air. All of our ensembles are showing, look at this, very, very cold air up in Canada, even cold spilling into the United States. Those are low temperatures, but look at all that cold up there. I made a tweet about this, and here's what I want to tell you is the takeaway from all this. Sometimes we have to fight a battle to get cold to come over. There's a lot of cold over here in Siberia and Russia. We have to fight a big battle just to get it over here in our part of the hemisphere, okay? If it's already here and we get good tropical forcing, which helps to induce blocking, and you get a response of a proper jet stream alignment, this cold air can easily and very, very quickly come out of the Arctic, out of Canada, and pile up into our part of the world and turn us from cool fall or warm fall to winter just like that, okay? So it's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but the cold air will be readily available when the time comes for ridging in the EPO domain and maybe even in the NAO domain. You'll see the PNA set up along the west coast and pump that cool air into the central and eastern portion of the country. Got to have cool air up here to work with, and we will by all accounts. So should you worry at all that the cold is not coming just because you see red anomalies over your house in the long range, if you live in the south and east? No, you should not. Don't expect winter to be here right away. Expect it to take a little time as we work through the month. But if the MJO continues to progress along like it looks like it will, we will see cool air work in to the United States and turn very many locations cold and offer the chance of winter storms as we get toward mid-December. Okay, so up here in the northern plains and Great Lakes, maybe even in the northern parts of the New East and Northeast back into the Rockies, those are your areas that are favored for snow right now and probably will be once we get past this mild period this week. This is phase 6. Does this look like phase 6? Well, look at this. Phase 6 is warm for much of the country. You see that up here? Let's go back to our current temperature map. Warm for much of the country with just a few, negatives poking in here occasionally. But we just put this out. Look at that, warm. Just a big furnace here, blast furnace for the whole country, except for the Northeast and maybe where there's a little storm activity down here in the desert Southwest. This is the Sunday. We get on into Monday. We saw this with the AI a while ago. Tuesday. Look at this. Very, very warm along and east of the Mississippi, out here in the Southwest as well. But here comes that Thanksgiving cold punch coming in Thursday, going to cool us down for Thursday and Friday and Saturday across the north. Another big Arctic punch coming in as we get behind that into the northern plains and out west. But there's a big response of warmer temperatures coming in out of the south and west as those winds turn from there. It's going to really blast us here in the east with warm weather. And then we get way on out in time, and there you go. Your traditional European ensemble suite shows the core of the cold back over here, just like phase 7. We'll still be in phase 7 then, and there's your southeast ridge. And that's what we're looking at over the course of Thanksgiving. If we take a look at the precipitation depiction, we get on into the weekend, look for some shower activity out here in the Four Corners region, spilling into the southern plains, and even more energy working into the Pacific Northwest as we get on into Sunday evening into Monday morning. Could see a low spin up here in the plains. Probably will see some sort of a storm system here develop with rain and thunderstorms along and near the mid-south and mid-Mississippi Valley as we get on out toward Monday evening into Tuesday. And that front will push to the east, and that storm system winds up, heads up into the Great Lakes, and get a little backside snow up here in Canada, the northern parts of the UP of Michigan, maybe Minnesota. More energy coming into the northwest. And then there comes the front through. It's going to be dry for Thanksgiving for much of the country. Going to have some lake effect snow, though, for you all up here in the snow belt areas. Look for some snow to come in behind the Thanksgiving front into Friday and into the weekend before things kind of settle down a bit. Another little wave maybe comes through. But look at this. Signals are increasing for kind of a big storm that might wind up here in the western portion of the country, just into the lee of the Rockies, bringing a lot of snow back into the northern plains and the Rockies, and then winding up, heading to the east and in toward the Great Lakes. Not looking for snow in the east yet, but back over into the plains and up in toward the western Great Lakes. Could see some snow out of that. Another system hot on its heels as we get on in toward December the 4th, and that could have some cold air to work with up in the northeast by that time. High pressure in Canada could bring some cold air in, and of course on the north side of this storm track, and especially on the west side, you could see some snow again up into the Midwest and Great Lakes. And then another system remains, will come in behind that potentially as the pattern remains active. You got an active pattern. You're going to have some cold air, increasingly colder as we get on into December, punching into the United States and where those air masses meet. And it's impossible to say just yet where the storms are going to be, if storms are going to form for sure, and what track they're going to take. But where those air masses collide looks to have the best chance of snow. So I would paint snow from anywhere from here, Great Plains, back into the Rockies, and up toward the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. That's where I would look for the biggest corridor of snow from storm systems getting their act together in the plains, heading toward the Great Lakes and into the Northeast, back out here in the Rockies. Of course, it's going to be cold in the higher elevations, and as systems track in from the west, you're going to see some snow out of that too. But the big kind of storm cyclone synoptic scale storm system, snows will be in the areas that I circled there. And if we take a look at a couple of snowfall maps, you can kind of see that here as well. So the European ensemble mean actually paints a lot of snow here over the next 2 weeks. This is all the way out to December the 6th. And you see plenty of snow in the Rockies, and then back into the plains, northern plains, looking at least 6 inches, according to the European ensembles. And then, of course, over to the Great Lakes and the northern parts of the Northeast, even back down into the southern sections of the Northeast. You could see a few flakes too here if the European ensemble is right. But those are things that we've got to work out as we get down the road. A lot of the snow falls toward the end of the run, so don't hang your hat on it, but just know that those areas will be favored more so than areas farther south as we go out in time. Here's the European AI ensembles. And again, sort of the same footprint, just a little bit less in the way of snowfall. What we really want to see is snow buildup here in Canada to refrigerate the storm track, or to refrigerate the Arctic air track as the air moves out of Canada. You don't want it moderating over dry, snowless ground. You want the snowpack to help refrigerate it, send it down, and that helps to push the storm track south too as the Bear Clinic zone gets pushed down. And of course, you get plenty of storms potentially tracking along that Arctic boundary, and so we want that Arctic boundary farther south. So there you go. That's the kind of the winter weather portion of the show, folks. And we'll talk about this stuff every day. I'll make sure we're on track. Don't panic. We're good. Just gotta wait a little bit. It's all right. It's what we're supposed to do. Not going to be wintertime every single day of the winter season. So there you go. Hope that helps a little bit, calm the nerves a little bit. I'll keep you posted. If I see anything to panic about, I love snow myself. I want it to snow, and I'm looking for cold, and I'm looking for winter weather. I'm rooting for that. And if I start to panic about it, then you can start to panic too. But right now, we're in good shape. I'm not seeing anything to worry about. Just got to be patient a little bit. Now, I've got some severe weather to talk about, and I'm going to show you that right now. If you take a look here, as a matter of fact, by the way, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe up and hit the button down below. Make sure, here, let me get on the right display so we can see this. Make sure you subscribe and give the content a like, and certainly leave a comment for me. If you have any questions about any of this stuff or want to know where any of these maps came from, just let me know, and I'll be happy to tell you where it's all coming from and all of that stuff, and answer any questions you have. Send me a prayer request if you got anything to pray over. But in any event, we got a little bit of a chance of thunderstorms out here. We see some of those lightning strikes already taking place, but from Jackson, Mississippi up to Jackson, Tennessee, toward Nashville, even into Chattanooga and Birmingham, you guys could see a little bit of a thunderstorm issue this evening. A little bit of spin in the atmosphere too, so it wouldn't surprise me to see a brief tornado or two. Wind is kind of the primary threat. Not looking for a big severe weather outbreak, but just be weather aware if you're in these areas today. Matter of fact, if you take a look here, look at this. Boy, oh boy, look, most of the nation is under cloud cover, really down here in Texas, parts of West Texas, parts of Oklahoma, into New Mexico, and then northern California up to northern Nevada, and into parts of the northern plains and Florida. You don't have clouds, but everybody else does. And a lot of rain's falling out from some of these, and here's where the thunderstorms are forming, and rain is falling out of those down here in the deep south. So that's what's going on. There's your radar. Plenty of rain from McCook all the way to Omaha, Lincoln, and into let's just scroll in here. We can see some of these cities if we want to. Burlington, Bloomington, lots of Bloomingtons around here. Peoria over to Indianapolis, up into Columbus. That's blinked out down to Cincinnati. For some reason, it's not showing it, but you guys have some showers there. Huntington, Beckley, Louisville, Chattanooga, Tennessee, even Bowling Green down here. We can kind of scroll down here too. Take a look. Look at these, some thunderstorms around Lufkin and over just to the north, and we'll call it north of Hattiesburg, and then some rain over in Montgomery. I've had some rain here today. It's been cloudy and drizzly in the Piedmont and the foothills of North Carolina, all the way to the coast and around Virginia as well. So a lot of rain out here today, and that will continue as we go through the next a couple of days or so, and kind of wind the weekend up. If we look through, let me go back a little bit to today. I've kind of ran this forward. There's your thunderstorm complex down here in the south. Plenty of rain back where we showed you before. Another system working into Southern California, another system working into northern Washington State, and also up into the Northeast too. Just rain and little systems and energy, pockets of energy everywhere. But you could see how we go through the evening hours. We wake up tomorrow, Saturday morning, and we're looking at rain potentially up here in East Tennessee, northern Georgia, parts of North Carolina, up into the mid-Atlantic, and then more rain down here in Southern California. And still looking at that pesky system, more energy, just that onshore flow up into the northwest, just bringing you more energy up there, more rain, and all of that will pull out by the time we get on into Sunday, Saturday afternoon even, should start clearing up along the East Coast. More rain down here in Arizona. And through the afternoon hours on Sunday, little system working through the northeast. There you go. And look at that. More rain for Texas as a storm system starts to get its act together Sunday evening, and another piece of energy moving in the west Pacific Northwest. Active pattern, got plenty of cold air coming, so just be patient. We'll be there before we know it. In any event, folks, that is the show for today. I know that's just sort of been a quick whirlwind of stuff sort of straight through. I'll be back on Monday with a much more organized and segmented show, but tomorrow have some family things going on, so probably do a quick show in the morning, quick video, and get that out in the morning and maybe on Sunday as well. But that's what we've got today. If anything changes, follow me on X. I'll let you know at Real Cold Rain, and Facebook as well, Jason Pritchard there. But anyway, hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back soon. Take care and God bless.